Point number 4, death wish mentality. Interestingly, the prophecy of decline has been a recurrent theme in Indian Buddhism. References are not wanting in Buddhist literature, indicating the belief entertained by Buddhists that the impending end of their faith was unavoidable. There appears to have been a sort of death wish psychology at work in Indian Buddhism, so to say. The Vinay Pitaka refers, for instance, to the decline of moral life resulting in the anticipated collapse of the Dharma. The Buddha himself is said to have expressed the view that his religion would last only 1000 years and that the entry of women would further cut its lifespan to half. Both the Chakravarti Sihinad Sutant and the Agnya Sutant of the Digha Nikaya refer to the idea of imminent decline as part of the cosmic cycle of evolution and devolution spanning vast expanses of time. One can clearly discern a sort of depression and despair in the Shijuchi which Xuanzang unsystematically conveys to the mind of his readers. He gives examples of the different legends which were widely current when he visited India. These legends are highly suggestive of the attitude of helpless defeatism that had overtaken the Buddhists at that time. He talks about the prophecy of a holy man who left his garment behind, saying that the garment would survive as long as Buddhism itself. This garment had already begun to show signs of corrosion when Xuanzang visited India, thereby indicating the fulfillment of the prophecy of a not too distant future. Xuanzang also relates the story of a stupa. According to this story, the Buddha had prophesied that the stupa would be burnt 7 times and 7 times would it be rebuilt and then Buddhism would come to an end. When Xuanzang came to India, this stupa had already been burnt down 4 times. At Bodh Gaya, Xuanzang saw the statue of Avalokiteshwar, which was destined to sink completely in the ground with the disappearance of Buddhism. He found it sunk up to the chest and estimated that it would be completely buried in about 150 to 200 years. Again, amidst the bustle and grandeur of Nalanda, Xuanzang was haunted by a prophetic dream. He foresaw the evil days that would follow the death of King Harshvardhan, when a conflagration would devastate the celebrated center of Buddhism and the humming halls of Nalanda would be deserted. Thus, the Buddhists themselves believed that they were living in the valley of decline and were in fear of an approaching cataclysm. It may be interesting to see if such a mind act played any role in the decline of Buddhism in India, as no effort was made by the Buddhist Sangha to build a mass base for itself. Point number 5. Overwhelming presence of Brahmanical elements in the Sangha and unwittingly playing second fiddle to Brahmanical Hinduism. Though Buddhism had opened its doors to all irrespective of caste, creed or gender, but the fact that the Shudras and the Chandalas had very little or no access to either education or property, they were in practice not welcome in the Buddhist Sangha. Thus, highly educated Brahmins remained the most favored caste when it came to membership of the Sangha. Nearly half of all the senior monks and nuns mentioned in the Pali Tipitaka came from Brahman families. The infiltration of such elements in huge numbers, most of whom were never fully converted to the ideals set forth by the Buddha, contributed greatly towards sabotaging the Sangha from within. Control of the Sangha by monks of Brahman background immediately after the death of the Buddha and the events of the first council are an indication of what was to happen in the days to come. Control of this council by Brahman monks such as Kashyap, humiliation of Anand, and non-participatory remarks by monks such as Puran must be seen as matters of grave concern in this connection. Vilification of Devadatta and other relatives of the Buddha, including the entire community of Vajjian monks, also appear to fall within this agenda to create confusion, sabotage, and ultimately Brahmanization of Buddhism. From the time of King Ashok, when institutional Buddhism became politically significant and acquired the character of a pan-Indian religion, Brahmanical elements inside the Sangha must have proved very helpful to the Brahmanical Brahmins in their efforts to systematically and consciously subvert institutional Buddhism. As pointed out by P.V. Kane, assimilation of Buddhist ideas, which was part of this subversion, was neither a consequence of Brahmanical Hindu tolerance nor was it indicative of a Brahmanical Hindu propensity for philosophical syncretism. This subversion of institutional Buddhism becomes clearly visible in the shifting of the theories and political orientation of kingship when Vishnu usurped the place of the Buddha as the supreme imperial deity. In this way, the device of Vishnu's avatars weakened the position of Buddhism within the socio-political context and helped to create possible its eventual eclipse and absorption by Brahmanical Hinduism. Such a development undermined the Buddha's historicity by making him an appendage of the Vaishnav mythic hierarchy. Interestingly, when one looks into how and to what extent the Buddha was ritually included within the Brahmanical Hindu tradition, there is not much to find. According to J.C. Holt, cultic veneration of the Buddha within Brahmanical Hinduism is virtually absent. Thus, the decline of Indian Buddhism must be viewed as having occurred as a collective result of its inherent death-wish psyche and psychodynamics bordering on self-annihilation, fueled by its disillusion with the mundane world, its intellectual snobbery, social aloofness, lack of mass base, its institutional sabotage by Brahmanical caste, hostile peasant Brahmanical alliance of the Bhakti movement and its patronage by the ruling authority, and above all, over dependence upon the Brahmanical caste for personal recruitment into the Sangha and inalienable alliance with urban mercantile communities for material substance. Thank you so much.